I think anytime you can play good teams, it's good for you, regardless if they're in the league or not in the league. I mean, that's kind of been our, scheduling model since I got the job. We tried to play, 10, all ends, if you will, and we tried to play one team from our state and then another group of 5 type of team. That's kind of been our model for a long time. Not everybody, really subscribes to that. The Power 5 type games. So I think it's great. Anytime you can play a great team, certainly Notre Dame is one of those teams.
Coach Swinney, what type of offense are you expecting Riley to put together for your ball club?
Well, I mean, I think the best offenses we've had have had some semblance of balance. Not that you're going to be some 50-50 type deal week to week. It just kind of depends on where you are. I think that's where your explosiveness comes from. So I think when it's all said and done, we got to be able to run the football. That's where it starts. I think we're going to be able to do that, but then you also have to be able to throw the ball at a high level. So I think the biggest thing would be just a little bit more explosive, getting back to what we've been accustomed to from an explosive standpoint. Hopefully more big plays, and part of that is being healthy and getting kind of all hands on deck as well.
Dabo, if Florida State is consistently really good, is that good for the ACC and is that good for Clemson?
I mean, I don't know if it's good for Clemson, but it's definitely good for the ACC. As many good teams as you can have. I mean, Mike's he's done an amazing job. I mean, he really has. They've done a great job, and you can kind of see it coming. I think they've made steady progress. They've done a great job in putting their roster together as they've tried to build their roster since he got there. But I think it's good anytime you got, whether it's Florida State or whoever. And I mean, there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of great players in this league. It's a talented league from top to bottom. And there's no disputing that. I mean, I know people don't want to talk about that, but the NFL comes to our league second most. All the way back to 05, 2013, whatever how you want to look at it. It's a long time. Quarterbacks, etc. So it's a lot of great players, and again, a lot of great coaches that I don't think necessarily get the recognition that they deserve. But I don't think anybody would say that it's a bad thing when you have a bunch of good teams in your league.
Where are Coach Riley and Kade at this point heading into the fall in terms of getting on the same page with the offense and just kind of being in sync? Yeah,
well, I mean, they're ready to go. They're both, very, positive and enthusiastic people just naturally. So they're both really ready. We've got a lot of work done since January. Everybody's just ready to get out on the field and let's start to, reap the benefits of that work. But the one other positive about Garrett is he recruited Cade, so he knew him already, prior to him getting here to Clemson. So they're ready to go. It's been a great summer from a preparation standpoint. Cade has done an amazing job of leading our guys in our skills and drills, and installation-wise, we're in a good spot. So now we just got to go do it.
What's your like to have Coach Morris back around? He had so much success here.
Oh, that's great. I love Chad. It's one of those things. He probably would have come back this spring, but he had a bad horse accident. He broke his leg, and it was really bad. Had to have a bunch of rods and screws put into one leg. So he's still kind of recovered from that. But I mean, he's a very cheap, high qualified guy to have hanging around. But he's gonna, it's just kind of like what we did with Ted Roof a couple years ago. I mean, he's going to go watch Chandler play, but he still wants to be involved, and he can bring a lot of value. I mean, he's going to be like a special assistant in football. He's actually going to work with the defense and the offense, and that he's going to, just stay a week ahead and really just add a lot of value from another lens. This guy's been a really, really good offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach. I mean, he's just got a lot of experience, and again, just. He's always loved Clemson. Loved his time here. It's crazy. He hadn't been back here since the day he left. We were talking about it. He left the Sunday. after the South Carolina game in 2014. He left the next day to take the SMU job. He hadn't been back since. And so it's changed a lot since then. A lot has happened, obviously. So he's really, you hadn't seen our facility. There's a lot of things. So it's been really good to just have him back around. And again, he'll bring a lot of value for sure. And hopefully we can help him, just kind of get back reset and get back going and get some positive things back going in his direction.
Trevor, what do you think of the new clock rules, and how do you think that might change, affect your offense?
I don't think it will change much. They changed the rules a few years ago to where it doesn't stop when you go out of bounds. The biggest change is first downs. So apparently that'll shorten the game some. I don't know. I think it's more the commercials, if you ask me. And you just throw them over there on the side and let's keep playing. But the biggest change is there's no change to the first half, second half. That's the exact same. So it's not like you got to kind of rethink clock management, things like that. Now your 4-minute mode is different because you're obviously you get the first down and it's rolling. So that part of it's a little different, but I think it's good. I don't think there's anything bad about it.
Hey, Coach, 15 years now. That's a generation. A lot of these men you have on your roster were kids when you started in Clemson, and I believe, I don't know the number, but Paul had a significant birthday, if you will, recently. So just a little bit on the legacy, reflecting on your time at Clemson, now a generation into it.
Yeah, this will be my 15th year full-time as the head coach, which is crazy. It really is crazy. It's been an amazing journey. A lot of good years, some great years, and some tough years. We had a little bit of everything along those 15 years. And just so many great people and great relationships along the way. It's been a blast for sure. The Paul had 53 years, I think, is what the Paul celebrated. And the unique story about that is, I met Frank Howell when I was a kid. He was the only football coach I met. As a young kid, I knew Coach Ryan. I met Frank Howard, which is crazy. And then Hootie Ingram was the one who just, I think, become the head coach at Clemson, and he was a great player at Alabama. I guess they wanted to kind of rebrand some things and change kind of the logo or whatever, and they hired this company to do all this stuff, and they ended up settling on Paul. And that's Coach Howard, I guess, signed off on it, said, okay, let's do it. But the crazy thing about that is when I go to Alabama, Hootie Ingram was my AD. He was the athletic director while I'm a player and starting my coaching career. So it's kind of a weird connection as well.
What do you like most about the makeup of this team?
Say that again?
What do you like most about the makeup of this team?
Well, I think it starts with those 7 graduates that could have all gone into the NFL draft. That all are graduates. I think 3 of them have master's degrees, and they all chose to stay at Clemson. And they didn't choose to hang out and play on the lake for a year. They came back with a very focused vision and purpose of what they wanted to do individually and also as a team. So that really is awesome because these are guys I didn't expect to be back. And now they're all back, and that type of leadership has been great. And then we signed another great class. I thought we signed a great class last year. I think we signed a great class this year. 15 of them came mid-year. So there's a lot of enthusiasm that comes with that. There's a lot of competition that comes with that. And then, guys like Cade, guys like Antonio, guys that have been in the program like a Trent Howard, Ron Linthicum, Marcus Tate, maybe you don't know as much about, a Cade Denhoff, who are going into that 3rd year or redshirt junior that are really developing. So it's a good roster. It's a good mix from top to bottom.
What's driving the team this year? Obviously, they've won championships, these guys. So, is there a different mentality this year? The same mentality? Can you tell what's driving this particular squad?
Yeah, I mean, they same things. We're focused on just day in, day out. Having good habits. Good daily commitment, because that's what it takes. I mean, if everything's perfect, we get 15 days to play. That's it. So, you know, you can't worry about those 15 days. You get just the other 350. And the way you win the 350s, you win the day that you're in right now. And so just good daily focus, good daily habits and commitment, and, you know, focus on the things that we control, which is being ready for camp, being prepared for camp, and then let's try to lock in and win the opener and go from there. But it's the same thing. We're very purpose-driven, you know, as a program, and same mindset as we've always had. Start over, and you gotta go put the work in.
Dabo, I'm going to steal a question that Kornblut asked of Shane Beamer yesterday on NIL. Lawmakers are talking about it. Coach Tuberville, one of the senators, who's kind of talking about maybe some guidelines for NIL going forward. What would you like to see in if the federal lawmakers were to come down and create some guidelines for NIL?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into, you know, because that's fantasy land.
Yeah.
Because I don't get any say in any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a biggest thing I would say is, it's, as I said earlier, it's been a net good, but it's being used improperly, and so it's not, there's no order, there's no structure, it's different rules in different places, and so I mean, the biggest thing I would like to see is just whatever it is, just some type of continuity.
Yeah.
That'd be the biggest thing.
Was there a point in the offseason with Coach Riley or Coach Riley and Kade where you're like, oh, wow, this is going to work pretty well. This might even surpass my expectations when I made this decision? Did you see that?
Well, I mean, yeah, but, you know, we got to do it on game day. I mean, I saw some good things in practice for sure, but, you know, I'll feel a lot better when I see it on game day. But, you know, the biggest thing is just track record. I mean, Cade his kid's been a winner a long time. You know, it's easy to watch practice and watch his skill set and go, okay, that translates. You know, we've got a healthy team now. It's easy to watch, you know, Shipley and Maffa and all the good things that I see in our offensive line and get excited about it. But, you know, and it's easy to see the confidence and enthusiasm of Garrett. But again, you know, that scoreboard ain't lit up yet, so I'll be more confident when we see it on game day.
You think you can share on the decision to dismiss Timmy Dudley from the team?
No, just, you know, it's a disappointing situation because he's a good kid and a man. He had a chance to be a great player for us this year, so that definitely hurts us. But, you know, it's unfortunate, you know. But we've got rules, and sometimes. You know, it's just best to get a fresh start. So wish him well.
84 scholarships, is that correct?
I think that's correct. You know, so we'll have. You know, hopefully I can put a couple of my guys back on that were on previously that we had to take off. You know, like our starting snappers. Those guys are pretty important. You know, and so we took them back. Dominique Thomas, I think he's pretty important to our football team, and so hopefully we'll be able to reward a couple of those guys as we get through camp.
Cade said earlier that Adam Reynolds really progressed and that we aren't ready for what he's about to achieve. What have you seen from him in this offseason?
Just, I mean, same thing as what I've seen in Cade. He's just a more knowledgeable, more confident kid because he's just more experienced. You know, again, you just don't know what you don't know. And then obviously with Adam, he got hurt in spring, so he missed all the summer, and he's battling back from a knee injury. So he missed a lot of time, you know, that freshmen need. Everybody needs, but in particular a true freshman. But he kind of started to hit his stride toward the end of the season, and I think things were slowing down a little bit. But man, he looks amazing. I mean, he's, I don't know, 225, 6 pounds. He's about 5% body fat. I mean, he's just strong. He can really run. I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the country, you know, and, you know, just excited to see him healthy and feeling good. And if he's on the field, good things are going to happen with that kid. And it all starts with Bo, you know, for us. I mean, it's Bo, Antonio, and Cole, and Adam, and Spector. Those kind of 5 guys, if we can, and then you throw Brenny in there, Sage, and Shipley and Maffa, I think we've got as good a group as there is, you know, and will allow us to compete at the highest level. And so just, you know, hopefully we can, you know, have a little luck this year and keep our top guys on the field from a health standpoint. And then we went and signed 4 guys. So we've got some good young depth that I think we can bring along, and hopefully we can bring them along at a good pace as opposed to having to throw them out there in the fire, you know, if the guy got hurt or something.
Deb, I know you don't play Louisville this year, but can you tell me, just for a friend of mine who wanted me to ask you this question, tell me about Coach Braun, what you know about him, your thoughts about him?
I don't know a lot about him. I've met him 2 or 3 times, and you know, really sharp, super nice guy and personable every time I've been around him. But I've certainly watched him from afar. I think he's going to do an amazing job. I think he's a great coach. I think you know, he's obviously a great fit for Louisville, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't have a lot of success there.
You've been a part of a number of Florida State Clemson games where, I mean, it's both teams have legitimate national championship aspirations. Feels like this is the first year in a while where that's true. I guess how fun, how important is that series, and probably even a rivalry, when both teams are kind of at that level like they might be this year?
Oh man, regardless if we're both, you know, 4-4 or 8-0, Clemson Florida State it means a lot to a lot of people. It's a big game. It's certainly one of those rival type games that goes way back. But yeah, I've been a part of a lot of big ones that certainly have, you know, in the past it was the division was only, you know, that game determined the division. So now it's a game that might determine the division, you know, or I mean, there is no might determine who's going to the playoff now as it expands, and certainly even this year for the Final Four, or you know how it's going to shake out in the December ACC championship game. It's always electric. I mean, they're a great football team. Again, Mike's done an unbelievable job, a bunch of great players. I love their quarterback. I think he's, first of all, a great kid, and he's an amazing player. And you know, you saw that last year. I mean, we had a pretty good lead on them there in the fourth quarter, and that's a reflection of, you know, their belief in, you know, what they're doing and where they are, because those kids didn't quit, man. And I mean, next thing you know, it's coming down to an onside kick. So it'd be a big battle for sure.
You mentioned Final Four.
Wade Woodaz, oh man, that guy. He can do anything. We'll use him in a lot of ways. He you know, he's our big Sam, but he can play Mike and Will. You know, he gives us some depth there. You know, and you'll see him there. But we can also use him as a hybrid guy as we need to. He can play safety, kick and run. Man, he's got ball skills. He's got a huge football IQ. You know, his background as a quarterback. But that kid and what he did as a freshman to where it's amazing. So he's on his way. You know, really fortunate to have that group at linebacker. We're a little top heavy there, so we're going to have some help from Kobe and from you know, D. Creighton and Jamal Anderson are going to have to step up and help us out depth wise. But Woodaz, it starts with him.
You mentioned Final Four. For you guys to take that little step from ACC championship team that you were last year to a college football playoff Final Four team or a national championship type team, is it just health, I guess, or what's that little step?
A couple plays, you know. If we're a better pass defense and a better pass offense, then we'll have a chance. You know, got to do a little better job taking care of the ball. You know, we turned it over too many times, and we got to do a little better job taking it away. But at the end of the day, you know, we got to be better in our pass offense, and we'll be better in our pass defense. If we keep everything else the same, we'll you know, because we're 1 point away last year. You know, we're 1 point from being in the playoff, and if you get in the playoff, anything can happen. So just got to improve in some of the areas that we weren't quite as good as we needed to be last year.
How much of Trevor Lawrence did you watch last year, and what can you make of the improvement he made from year 1 to year 2?
Oh man, it was awesome to see him kind of, you know, find his footing a little bit. I think the first year obviously was just kind of chaotic, man, it was awesome to see. You know, they didn't have ETN, and to see ETN, you know, get healthy and to see how they competed, and man, they were really close. I mean, they were right there. I've known Doug for a while now. fact, I talked to him yesterday. We texted each other. He does a great job. Does a great job with the team. Does a great job with the quarterback. And man, Trevor's in a great place. I mean, he just is who he is. I mean, there's nothing he does that surprises me. So, because he's never gonna rest on his laurels. He's gonna always be prepared. He's gonna work his tail off. You know, he can take the punches as they come, and I think they've done a good job of putting a good group around him. I mean, they're getting Ridley back this year, and hopefully Big Trav stays healthy. They'll be a tough out.
Coach, your former assistant Venables made some comments about Deion Sanders recently and his roster turnover at Colorado. Do you feel his assessment was fair?
I'm not evaluating Brett's comments. You know,
I mean, for yourself, do you feel like you would have given those guys
I'm not judging anybody on how they run their program. You know, that's not my job to do. I'll focus on how we run our program, and I'm certainly not going to evaluate other people's comments. But I think to each his own. You know, I mean, I think I mean, everybody's got a job to do, and whatever. Everybody's situation is different, right? So I think our job as coaches is to play within the rules and do what you got to do to compete. So I don't judge anybody.
Syracuse and Clemson had a lot of close battles in the recent past. What makes Syracuse such a difficult
Dadgum Dino. He does an awesome job. You know, I mean, his guys are always prepared. They're tough. You know, they do a good job schematically. He's always got a dadgum quarterback. That's a problem. And dang, Schrader's back again. Can't seem to get rid of him. They're just, you know, they're tough. They're tough guys. And again, Dino, I think, does an outstanding job. So, you know, got good skill. You know, they create some problems. Go back up there this year. Tough place to play. It's had a lot of battles for sure.
What makes the Dome such a tough place to play?
The same things that I just said, because you know when it can get going. It can certainly get going up there, and that's a great venue. And you know, I think winning on the road is always tough, but certainly going up there and I mean, it can get loud. It can get rocking in there. And it's just a different environment. You know, it's kind of unique, you know, to college football, but a really cool place to play. It's a great college football experience, you know, to be able to go up there and play, but definitely not an easy place to play. But you know, what makes it tough is the crowd does a good job, and the same things I was just saying. I mean, they're well coached, they're tough, they're prepared, and always a challenge.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the expansion of the college football playoff from 4 to 12 teams?
Let's go. I mean, you know, it's here. I mean, it'll be a new era for sure. I mean, it's kind of interesting this year. It'd be really cool. That would be awesome to get to the last Final Four this year. That would be a pretty cool thing to be a part of as that goes away. So just, you know, kind of like from the BCS to the 14, and now you're graduating on. It's going to be different, but you know, it's just embrace it and see if we can be in that final 12.
Does it affect your scheduling in the future?
Probably. I could see that. You know, I mean, I think it's to be determined. You know, as there's so many kind of unknowns when it comes to that right now. You know, what's going to happen in other leagues as far as conference games. You know, do you continue to schedule major out-of-conference type games and things like that? You know, so I think those are a lot of questions that, you know, that I don't really have the answer to right now, but I think it'll play out as we get rolling into that era.
How tempted?
Got time for two more.
How tempted do you think you would be if you've got 2 games left and you pretty much know you're going to be in the top 12, that you maybe rest some of your stars?
Well, I don't think that's any question that's going to happen. I mean, you're basically just kind of going to an NFL model, you know, from a playoff standpoint. The NFL has, 14 teams? Is that what they got? So you're going to 12, and I mean, that's unfortunate. That's just one of those, you know, again, there's always unintended consequences, and that's one of them, but that'll happen. There'll be situations just like you see, you know, in any big tournament type sport. You see that in the NBA. You see that in baseball. You know, you see it certainly in the NFL, where I mean, they're in the playoffs, right? They're there, and you know, and I think that's one of the downsides, one of the negative consequences. But again, it'll probably still be a net good, but you just adjust to it and keep going.
Final one here.
Jen Lewis, 3 Chicks in a Pod.
What's that?
Jennifer Lewis with 3 Chicks in a Pod.
Okay.
Stitch Media.
Okay.
We talked at the ACC Championship press conference.
Okay.
And just 2 quick questions for you. One, how is it that all of your players are so polished when speaking to the media?
I guess Ross does a good job.
Recruit good kids.
And also, this is my favorite question to ask right now. What was your favorite play that you saw cultivated on the field without a lot of input from you during game time last season?
Let me process that one now. What was the? One more time. Give it to one more time.
What was your favorite play that you saw cultivate on the field during game day without a lot of input from you?
Without a lot of input. Probably the one of our scramble plays. You know, where we because you know those are off schedule type things. So one of our scramble plays where we got a huge play off of it. You know, would be. There's several of them, but those are always my favorite. You know, the no, yes, those plays.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thanks, guys.